Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. Killer Frost is a pretty awesome villain, who more people are getting to know now that she's part of the CW Flash television show. However, there are still a lot of people who are completely unfamiliar with her. Given that it seems we'll be seeing quite a bit more of her, I thought I'd catch everyone up on everything they need to know about her. Now, keep in mind that I'll be describing this for fans new and old, so if something seems obvious to you, it won't be obvious for those who've never heard of her. And as usual, I'll focus more on the comic side of things. With no further ado, it's time for the top 10 facts about Killer Frost. Number 10. First of all, let's do a quick crash course on her New 52 history for those who don't know her. Caitlin Snow was a scientist at Star Labs working at an outpost in the Arctic Circle. She decided to continue the work of her dead colleague, working on a self-sustaining thermodynamic ultraconductor engine, with the hopes of creating a perpetual motion machine. Unfortunately, when the engine was finished, it turned out her colleagues worked for the Evil Hive organization, and they tried to stop her. In a bind, Caitlin accidentally infused herself with ice, giving her a number of powers and one significant handicap. What powers? Well, I'm glad you asked. Number 9. Following her accident, Killer Frost found herself encased in a permafrost. Unfortunately, people aren't meant to be covered in permafrost, and the changes in her physiology caused her to hunger for heat. However, all was not lost, as she also gained a number of ice-related powers, as so many often do. First and foremost, she gained the ability to absorb the body heat of others to sate her hunger and survive. She also gained the power of cryokinesis, which allowed her to generate organic ice and manipulate moisture in the air, used to create ice weapons, shoot spikes, or even large storms. Pretty nifty. Number 8. She was on the Suicide Squad. As is somewhat common amongst the slightly more grey villains, Killer Frost was inducted into the Suicide Squad. Hopefully by now everyone knows what that is, basically a team of villains sent on dangerous missions since they're disposable. She helped the Suicide Squad for a time, but soon realized that she just didn't want to be a villain. Her doubts further manifested themselves after seeing the heroic efforts of the Justice League, and she was eventually reformed from her old ways. But one event sealed the deal, which brings me to my next point. Number 7. ECLIPSO turned her good. I mean, she was already on the road to reform, but he gave her that last push she needed. Killer Frost greatly impressed the Justice League in the battle between ECLIPSO and the combined Suicide Squad and Justice League. As she was absorbing heat from all those present, with their permission, ECLIPSO used his power to show her her deepest desire. But this plan totally backfired because she saw that her deepest desire was to make a difference, thus solidifying her drive to reform. But she had one big obstacle to overcome if she wanted to get into the Justice League: Amanda Waller. Number 6. Waller was a big old jerk to her. If you've read the Suicide Squad comics or seen the movie, you'll know of Amanda Waller, the director of the Suicide Squad. And my goodness, was Waller a jerk to Killer Frost. I mean, granted, Killer Frost had killed people as a villain, so I can't really fault Waller for not fully trusting her, but she seemed intent on keeping her from reforming. She lost her paperwork, deprived her of heat, then kept sticking a bunch of delicious warm people in her cell to tempt her, even a frickin' pyrokinetic, which is totally cheating. But Frost had the last laugh because she was able to keep under control and was paroled from the squad and transferred to the Justice League at the request of good old Batman. Which brings me beautifully to number 5. Number 5. She's now a member of the new Justice League of America. After Frost helped to save the world from ECLIPSO and she proved that she could control her hunger, she was released from the Suicide Squad and joined the new Justice League. While we haven't seen much of her yet, her chemistry with the other members is pretty great, and I'm loving what I've seen so far. Do I still prefer Lobo? Of course. But she's definitely holding her own on the team, and I'm becoming a big fan. Number 4. Differences in the ARROWVERSE. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the live-action version that we've seen in the ARROWVERSE. While her powers are similar, there are a number of differences between this version and the comic version. First of all, she's less outwardly different. Rather than her usual blue coloring due to the permafrost, she generally looks like a normal person. She also doesn't need to absorb heat from others like the comic version does, although it's possible that this will become a major plot point in the future. Number 3. She inspired a Smallville villain, although he doesn't share her name. This one's kinda weird. In Smallville, Sean Kelvin, a fittingly named student at Smallville High, gained essentially the same abilities as her after falling into the kryptonite-exposed lake. His body was constantly running too cold, and he needed to extract warmth from people in order to survive. The strange thing is, I just don't get why they decided to make it a random guy rather than using Killer Frost herself. It's still DC, you're not stealing her, but this unashamed copy was kinda weird. Maybe it was a rights issue? I don't know. If you do, please let me know in the comments, because I'm curious. Number 2. She's living a nightmare. I think we can all agree that someone who wants to do good would struggle pretty hard with the fact that her body is screaming at her to leech the heat out of everyone around her. It sounds like torture. And it turns out this is precisely her nightmare, as we learned when she came up against the Terror Smith. His ability to transform transform any human he touches into their worst nightmare didn't work on her because, as she said, she's already living her worst nightmare. And it worked out pretty well in that encounter, but it is hella depressing that she couldn't imagine being any worse than she already is. And this leads me to my final point. Number 1. She's doing everything she can to get better. While Frost is a member of the Justice League and does go on missions for them, her personal mission is to find a way to cure her heat sickness, so she can put an end to her suffering. The constant yearning for heat is just awful, and she wants to figure out a way to handle this problem throughout the Justice League series. She gets a lot of help from the Atom, another member of the League, and while they haven't succeeded as of the time I'm writing this video, I'm certainly rooting for them. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please smack that thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more videos. Who's your favorite ice-based supervillain? Let me know in the comment section down below. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie LaFergie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.